Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I see more gentlemen than ladies here. I don't know why is that, because men want to be entrepreneurs and ladies don't want to be entrepreneurs? So what is it? Maybe I should ask the ladies' desk.
We're the wrong crowd to ask, because we're the ones who came.
Maybe you can go back and check with ladies actually what happened, what kept them away from us. Anyway, my name is Jasuja, and by the way, I have a question for you guys. How many of you aspire to be entrepreneurs? How about the rest of you guys? You already gave up after John's speech, I guess. So let me tell you one thing. Entrepreneurship is a journey. It's a roller coaster ride, full of, by the way, failures and successes, ups and downs, risks and rewards, excitements and depression. It is all of those things, and by the way, all the other synonyms and acronyms or whatever actually. Bottom line is, it is a painful journey, but with a lot of pleasures along the way. That's what I can say. Now, every entrepreneur has his or her own journey and own experiences along the journey that they take. I am here today to share with you my personal entrepreneurial journey, my personal experiences, my personal failures and successes. If you notice one thing, I always put failures first, because I have seen more failures than I have seen successes. And I'm very sincerely telling you, it is a painful journey with some pleasures along the way. So, if you are looking for a stable life, if you're looking for a comfortable life, if you're looking for a pleasant life, I would sincerely ask you guys to reconsider your decisions to pick entrepreneurship as your career. Okay? And I'm very, very sincere about that. Having said that, I also want to leave you with two thoughts, and two thoughts only. Entrepreneurship is the best career you can choose. Entrepreneurship is also the most pleasuresome, most rewarding career you can use, provided you are willing to commit and apply your passion and work very, very hard to achieve your goals. Otherwise, don't. Otherwise, pick some comfortable, pick some job.
Become a lawyer.
I'm sure David and John both would agree with me, actually, by the way. And by the way, so I'm here to share my personal experiences with a sincere hope that you can benefit from my personal experiences, my failures and my successes, and hopefully it benefits you in some way in achieving your personal entrepreneurial goals. And so that was the one thing actually that, this is the right profession. Second thing I want to tell you, and again I'm telling you very, very honestly, if a person from small town India by the name of Jasuja can do it, so can everybody else, and so can all of you guys do it. And by the way, I meet so many entrepreneurs, I have met so many people across the boardrooms in the world, and by the way, there's nothing magical about any entrepreneur. Okay? It is all your hard work, and obviously you need God's blessings to make that happen. So I will share my personal experiences with you later on, but first I guess we will go on to David, and he will actually, by the way, give you the theory of entrepreneurship, and then John and I will share with you the practical aspect. I'm sorry, I should say this actually. David has, by the way, a lot of experience. Did you run 3 public companies that were written? Two public limited. So he obviously has actually a lot more experience than I do. I probably have the least amount of experience among these speakers here, and I'll be pleased to share that with you. Thank you very much for being here, and I love to be here. Thank you. David has done an excellent job of telling you about entrepreneurship, the process and everything. And I was thinking that maybe we are actually done. In fact, we have told you all there is to know about entrepreneurship and rainbows and by the way, I don't know about you guys, but I was listening to him very carefully,
And in fact, so many things that he told me about entrepreneurship, in fact, I was learning from his lecture. So I was very seriously thinking that maybe I should go and join up the entrepreneurship program actually. I'll probably be a better entrepreneur actually by joining his program. Other thing David mentioned to you guys, that every entrepreneur, and I did say that also at the beginning, every entrepreneur's journey is different, and it is only their experience and their thing. So by no means that is the, I mean, any of us are an authority on entrepreneurship, except Professor David, obviously. He's a professor of entrepreneurship. So I will share with you my entrepreneurial journey, and I would like to keep it interactive. So I was under the understanding when Lilith talked to me that I had about 20 minutes to speak, but later on I was told that I have 10 minutes to speak. So I'm going to try and finish this lecture or speech in 10 to 15 minutes max, I hope. And Lilith, you just, if I get carried away like other entrepreneurs, you just stop. So where are we? Let me tell you a bit about myself. I was born and brought up at Katni. I don't know if any of you guys have heard the name of Katni, Madhya Pradesh, India. It's a very, very small town in India. My primary schooling took place at a municipal school, and believe it or not, actually, I used to sit on a jute mat, and obviously that mat did not look like this. Our whole school was 2 small rooms, and in fact, I was comparing those 2 small rooms when I was at Kleiner Perkins' office in California, giving my presentation, and the Kleiner Perkins boardroom is probably twice the size of this. And when partners are sitting there, and believe me on this, if I remember correctly, the partners could not talk to they could not whisper into each other because they were sitting so far from each other. It's a very daunting, very intimidating, by the way, boardroom. And so the contrast was from my school to the Kleiner Perkins boardroom actually. So that's the journey I made. I did my BTech from Institute of Technology Varanasi, which is part of the IIT umbrella in India. Did my master's in system design from University of Waterloo. Went and joined Mukesh Gupta's company, TCS, back in 1975, I guess, in Bombay, India. And believe it or not, I was employee number, if I remember correctly, the number that comes to my mind actually was 368 or something like that. So there were that many employees. And I guess today, Mukesh, how many people in TCS today?
230,000.
230,000. So look at the journey that TCS has made, by the way. From there, I came to Canada, joined Bank of Nova Scotia as a programmer analyst, became a senior manager. Then I went to Singapore, went and became a professor there, like David actually. I was teaching at the University of Singapore. Came back here, joined Royal Trust, which became part of Royal Bank. I was a senior manager there, and then eventually became the managing partner of electronic banking at Royal Trust. Then I went to, and I think there's a set missing there, I went to California, I went to the Silicon Valley, joined a company by the name of Whitehall Communications. That company, I had the opportunity of working with one of the Thai, I guess, founders, Mr. Kailash Joshi and Dr. Tripathi. That company, by the way, closed down after my going there, actually. and you know, by the way, I mean, I know this is being webcast, but I hope Adya doesn't listen to this webcast. When the company closed down, believe it or not, I was very happy. We celebrated. Because when we went to California, my children hated leaving Toronto, and my daughter Anita always never even changed her watch. She kept Toronto time. So when our company closed down, it was a celebration in my house. We went to Las Vegas and celebrated, and by the way, came back. So now, having had the entrepreneurial bug in California, having worked in a startup company, even though the company failed, by the way, I came back and I said, I'm not going to work for anybody. I'm going to become an entrepreneur. So at that point, I joined Unitel Communications, which is, I guess, you know, which has had many rebirths after that in the telecom industry. And so that was the start of Sigma as well. And by the way, and you know, I have very little time otherwise, and each one of these things can take an hour by itself actually. And by the way, I continue to learn from my mistakes, and I continue to sing. Hindi Bollywood songs. So I have to do this now. Sigma Group focus, and I will be very, very quick. Its focus is to, by the way, serve the IT needs of Fortune 500 companies through creation and delivery of and operations of products and solutions. These are some of the companies in the group, and I won't go into them. Sigma Systems, I'll talk about my flagship organization. Sigma Systems is focused on creating service management solutions for leading cable, wireless, and wireline companies across the globe. We have hundreds of millions of subscribers that used our service management platform to enable and provision their high-speed internet, telephony, voice over IP, video on demand, multimedia services, etc., etc. The corporate culture in Sigma group of companies, across the group of companies, is very much entrepreneurial, by the way. In fact, my motto is, I want to be a big company with a small company culture. Because prior to founding Sigma, I worked with big companies such as Scotia Bank and Royal Bank, and obviously maybe and many other companies. And what I learned actually is that I wanted my company's corporate culture to be different. I like small corporate culture. So that's my motto, that's my corporate statement, that I want Sigma group of companies to be big, but with a small company entrepreneurial culture. And there are three key pillars to our corporate culture: the customer focus, the employee focus, and the cost consciousness focus. Just a very quick, by the rundown on the Sigma story. Founded in 1994. In 2000, we raised about $50 million from Cisco, Kleiner Perkins, and Morgan Stanley. Hired a high-profile CEO, sold the company to Liberate Technologies, a US-based company. In 2003, I acquired that company back in 2 phases. And then in 2008, believe it or not, actually we were ready to go public. So all of 2007, we were preparing our IPO papers and working with different consultants and partners. And I guess you guys know what happened in December of 2007. The market crashed. And in fact, I want to share a piece of information with you guys. Every time, the last time I thought of going public was in the year 2000, around 2000, which is when I had Kleiner Perkins and Vinod Khosla on my board. And the market crashed. So 2007, 2008 was another time when I thought of going public, the market again crashed. So next time when I think about going public,
let us know.
Let us know. Let you guys know.
Sell.
And you guys, so that you guys, you can do the needful. Why am I going back?
Yeah, it started going backwards.
roll
Roll
the
the wheel downwards. That's it.
Okay. All right. This is your takeaway from it. This is the what I did actually. I was sitting. I said, what do I tell you? I mean, I give so many speeches on entrepreneurship, and to be very honest with you, I repeat the same bloody boring. I mean, my Sigma System story, and some of you guys have heard it, and I know it's boring for me for sure. No, I take it back. It's never boring for me. I must tell you, every entrepreneur has a lot of stories to tell you, and they love telling those stories. And by the way, everybody, I'm sure John has so many entrepreneurial stories that he could share with you. So can David, and so can I. And by the way, if we can get together for coffee or lunch or dinner, I'll be more than happy to tell you the stories and even buy the lunch or dinner for you. 2 things actually, by the way, and if you let me sing for you, then I'll even actually, by the way, I'll even pay you. So what does it take? I mean, now this, if any stuff that I'm saying here conflicts with what David has said, then treat him as a right, because he is the authority on entrepreneurship, and mine is only a one person's experience. It first of all takes, for you to be an entrepreneur, you have to be expressive, you have to be a communicator. And you have to feel that nothing is impossible in this world. You have to have that mindset. Teamwork is extremely important. No person is an island. And by the way, the faster you understand it, the farther you will go. That it is not you. In fact, David said something that when you hire people better than you, and you want to be the weakest link. David, to be very honest with you, that's exactly what I have done in Sigma group of companies. Whenever I hire anybody, I look at the person, I say, is he or she going to be better than me? In fact, I give that advice to my management team. Hire the people who are better than you, they will make you look better. So very good takeaway for you guys. In the early stages of my life, by the way, in terms of hiring people, I used to be a little cheap, or economical is the right word, actually. and once again, I can tell you from my first-hand experience that the people, the more expensive people in general that I hired, the quality resources I hired, created much more value for me than the most economical resources I had. And again, this cannot be taken as a Bible, but that has been my experience. R stands for risk taking, and what I say risk taking, as David said, not all entrepreneurs take risk all the time. So you have to assess the risk and you have to take the risk. But one thing I can tell you from my personal experience, risk taking is required in entrepreneurship. You cannot have the cake and eat it too. Because if you don't want to take risks, you just go and get a job. Become a professor like David, actually. But take a full-time job. Employees, I already talked about employees. Very critical element, actually. By the way, you've got to have passion. Without passion, you cannot be an entrepreneur. Relationships, very important. By the way, whatever you're doing, when you form a company, as I said, no man is an island. The relationships you form with the consultants, with the partners, with the employees, with the other companies and all this stuff will come in handy many times over, actually. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of relationships. And you've got to get engaged, you've got to be engrossed. You cannot, entrepreneurship is not becoming a boss. It's not a corporate management position. You are not the chief executive officer. In fact, the way I look at it, you are the chief servant of the company. In fact, and once again, I'm telling you from my personal experience, for many years in Sigma group of companies, I have always thought I'm working for everybody that I have. So I have to listen to their, especially in the IT sector. So you can understand, when I started the company in '94, 90s, you know what the demand and supply equation was for information technology resources. And in general, the information technology resources or knowledge-based workers, as we call them actually, are high in demand if they are good. So you always have to, by the way, they are the bosses, you are the servant. So you have to have that mentality. You have to have that humbleness. In fact, other piece of advice I want to give you that if you want to be an entrepreneur, there's no place for ego in you anymore. You have to be very humble, very polite, very team-oriented, and very relationship-oriented. U for user or customer. Customer is what is the main reason for your existence. So you have to really, by the way, treat them like God. Okay? And in Sigma group of companies, I have never developed anything, any product, without having a customer partner first. And in fact, many times I have taken the attempt, actually, we have gone ahead actually and developed the products in the lab. More often than not, by the way, we have missed the mark and we have actually failed. And a lot of those products are sitting in the lab only and could never see the market. So I have learned that anytime if you are developing any product, something like that, have a major customer as your partner. Role model, you have to be a role model. Believe it or not, the company, Sigma Systems Group started with 4 people and with me at the help. And I see elements in Sigma group of companies today, which is a few hundred people actually between India and here, actually, and I see elements of that corporate culture there, those seeds that we planted back then. So you have to be a role model, not only at the beginning, but throughout the process. You have to have a service attitude. If you're in the service industry, you have to have the sincere service attitude, okay, towards your clients and towards your customer, and towards your employees, and towards your partner, and everything. Honesty, innovation. You have to, innovation is required not only at the beginning, not only at the startup, but throughout the process you require innovation. And I don't mean just the product innovation. Innovation in terms of cost consciousness, innovation in terms of dealing with your employees, innovation in terms of, in every respect. You have to be a continuous learner, actually, at the end of the day. The last item is P, and which stands for perseverance. things will not always go right. In fact, things more invariably will go wrong. And you have to have the perseverance. You have to have the passion to continue to, by the way, work hard and move forward. I think that's it. Am I okay, Lalit, with time?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
I want to thank you very much. I hope to engage with you guys in the panel discussion and later on, actually, when we finish the session. I hope I was able to give you some tips that maybe you will benefit you in your journey as an entrepreneur. Thank you very, very much.